Leaving Motala, new adventures awaits. This is Lake Vättern, and today we hope to arrive in Forsvik. It's supposed to be northerly winds, so I hope we will be able to sail a bit today. And as you can see, it's not very warm.
Well, it's pretty cold.
In the middle of July in Sweden, normal summer. We've just passed Karlsborg. We had to get some fuel, and now we're on our way to Forsvik. This used to be part of Vättern, still is, because it's only disconnected by a bridge. So the water level is the same. That's where the bridge is. Jag såg en groda. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
This was our last lock going uphill.
Yeah.
From now on we will start going downhill. So obviously I think we're about 93 point some meters, even 98 point some meters above sea level. Cool. And so we have been going through about 40 locks with success, except for one time, and that was when it was really windy. Yeah. And that was not even in the lock, it was sort of before the lock.
Yeah. One of the fenders got stuck
in the get off place. And from now on, obviously we don't have to get off the boat to do the locking. But we will be able to do one in the front and one in the back. We are not really sure how it works.
We'll learn.
Yeah. And today's journey, we're not really sure where we're going, but there is a lake that we're supposed to pass, and then we'll see where we end up tonight. Going downhill.
Downhill.
The first lock is over and done with.
Yep.
Going downhill. How does it feel?
Well, so far it's not as much work as going upwards.
This part of the canal is a bit narrower. So up ahead there is a sign on the right hand side saying the sign M, meaning meeting point. Hopefully we won't meet any larger vessels at the moment. The day has turned out pretty good. It's not as cold as it was yesterday. A bit windy, but we're sort of in the forest, so it's okay. and the 3 boats ahead were the ones that we were together with in the lock. Usually they put 4 boats in one lock, and you have 2 on each side then. This is the smallest ferry in Sweden, at least. I'm not sure if it's even in the world. As you can see, it just goes from one side to another. It's just driven by man. It's actually the smallest ferry in the world. Hey! Every other Wednesday they have like a power meet here in Sjötorp. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there are 106 vehicles. We were hoping to pass through a few more locks today, but we are not allowed to go any further because there are boats that had to stop on the other side, and there's a charter boat coming from here. The person working in the lock said that we had to stay here overnight. It's okay. It's a nice and warm evening. We have plenty of food because we just got groceries in the town that we just passed, and yeah, I'm just gonna read a book for a while, I think. The weather today was said to be sunny, no wind, and about 22 degrees. Of course, it's still early. So far we've had a really long and heavy rain shower. It's now over there. We're also on Lake Vättern, which has a beautiful archipelago. The only problem is that you can't really get to it because the lake is really shallow, at least along where there are islands. We're motoring at the moment because the weather forecast also said that there would be no wind. Now we have wind against us, like towards the nose, which is totally wrong. And like I said, the rain was not supposed to be here either, so we were not taken by surprise, as we are always prepared. The Swedish summer weather is a bit unpredictable. We're just heading out towards Vänersborg, and like I said, we're up pretty early. We started around 7:30 this morning, hoping to get there before the crowds. The weather is supposed to be getting worse, so we'll see what happens in the upcoming days. We have Trollehätte canal to go before we reach Göteborg, which means that it would be nice that the weather stays not too stormy when we get out there. Now we have arrived to the locks in Trollehätte, and I've heard that they are quite high, so we'll see what we end up with. We chose to enter the canal from Mem on the east coast. The basic reason for that was that it suited us better geographically. We thought that it was a great experience and it was good for teamwork, and the landscape was just marvelous. If you take the time, you will find small villages that you never heard of with lots of stories to tell. It's also a lot of work. Even if you take your time, you have to follow the rhythm. The speed in the canal is 5 knots, and you usually go into the lock together with 3 other boats. And then between the locks, you have to travel with them in sort of a convoy to get to the next lock, or even to wait for an opening of a bridge. That can be a bit stressful if you would like to stay somewhere in the middle of the canal, just watch some birds or just watch the scenery. You don't have time for that really. All the way from Mem to Forsvik, which is about 40 locks into the canal from the east coast, locks go uphill. Usually one person will be on land and the other person will be on the boat. Then from Forsvik and on, you will have about 28 locks or so that go downhill, and it's so amazing how quick that is. The scenery and the landscape after Forsvik was totally worth the whole trip. That was the most beautiful part of the canal. Will we travel the canal again? Nah, probably not. It was more work than fun. We also had our share of really gusty, strong winds, engine problems, diesel leakage. But we stayed in a good mood all the time, and some people call this the divorce ditch. We chose to name it the Love Canal instead. Hello.
Hello.
Now it's official. We have passed all the locks and all the bridges that will stop us from getting to Kattegatt in Göteborg or Gothenburg. So we will, in a few minutes time, we will pass through the industrial part, I would think.
No, I must be.
We're going to see a lot of luxurious houses or beaches or anything. So today will be our first day out in the ocean since we left the east coast, and we're quite happy to have made it.
Yes.
Through all the locks. 66 locks. I don't know how many bridges, but we got out in one piece.
So we're not stopping in Göteborg. We're going straight out to the ocean now. Longing to throw the anchor and just not being in a harbor anymore.
And not have to wait for others or hurry to catch up with people. Actually, it would be nice not to talk to anyone else but you for a few days. Yeah, the weather so far is nice. It's quite warm, or not as cold as it usually is, and we're landing well.